Call to order the Ashland Board of Commissioners meeting for Thursday, September 28, 2022. We'll start with the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Lord, we come today giving thanks for our city. We thank you for the abilities to serve our community and its people. We thank you for the many positive projects that we have and we're coming to completion on for the betterment of our community. Lord, we ask for wisdom and guidance on this board of mayor and commissioners. We ask blessing and favor on our city manager, our employees and our staff, and most of all, our citizens and those in attendance today. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Let us stand and salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have a motion to receive and file the agenda?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We have a motion to receive and file the minutes for the regular meeting held on August 25th, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Hearings and reports. Commissioners, if you will allow me to begin, first welcome to all. We have a proclamation today, and it's something we did last year, and on behalf of Commissioner Spriggs, I'm issuing this proclamation. Whereas September 17, 2022 marks the 235th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention, and whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document and its memorable anniversary, and to the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate the occasion. And whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America, designating September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. Now therefore, I, Matthew Perkins, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Ashland, do hereby proclaim the week of September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week in the city, and ask our citizens to reaffirm the ideals the framers of the Constitution had in 1787 by vigilantly protecting the freedoms guaranteed to us through this guardian of liberties, remembering that lost rights may never be regained. I also want to make a note, I'll be presenting this to the DAR on behalf of the city, and we appreciate you bringing this forward, Commissioner Spriggs.
Is that on the 17th?
I'd be glad to.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
After dedication. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor.
All right. With that, Commissioners, would you like to start? Commissioner Goop?
Yes, welcome for this noon meeting. I was down there drinking a cup of coffee there, down by the G.B. Johnson building, and it is coming down very, very quickly. And I think by the end of the month, they'll be done with the basement and everything. So it's a very encouraging sign. We're coming up on Polk Landing Days next week. I think that's the 16th through the 18th. And then the LST Memorial Ship will be at the Port of Ashland next Thursday through Sunday, I believe. And the opening ceremony will be next Thursday at 9 a.m. The tours will start roughly at 9:30 to 5:30, Friday and Saturday and Sunday. And I invite everybody to come down and see. Thanks, Mayor.
All right. Commissioner Spriggs?
Well, Marty, I think that's been the first time it's been here for a while, hasn't it?
Yes.
Because of the virus.
Yes, yes.
So, but if you get a chance, it's a great thing to go down there and see that. So I just want to comment on the proclamation that Mayor Perkins gave us. You know, the 17th through the 23rd, we all should reflect on the might of this Constitution. The original document was only 4,400 words. It is the oldest and shortest written constitution of any major government in the world. In the world, sorry. Do I need to say all that over again? I think everybody heard it. But, you know, if you have children, please teach them the preamble and talk to them about the Constitution. This Constitution is the envy of every government in the world. There's nothing else like it. Polk Chapter DAR will be doing a dedication on the 17th to celebrate with Polk Landing Days of Colonel Annie Pogue, the first woman Kentucky colonel, and one member of the Pogue family, who our chapter's named after. So we'll be having a ceremony over there at 10 o'clock on that Saturday, and you're welcome to join us for that. Also, we will have a group on the steps of the First Presbyterian Church to read the preamble that is called Bells Across America in honor of the Constitution. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Bland.
Yes, so first of all, I just want to say to Chief Kelly and your officers, appreciate you all for your work the other night. We had another dangerous situation in the city and one fairly close to my neighborhood, actually, so I just don't want to fail to recognize your all's work and keeping us safe. Latin Night Live is going to happen October 1st, and I was notified this morning, very early this morning, that by my wife that there is an exciting vendor that's going to be joining us, but I will not ruin the surprise for that. But check it out.
What a tease, right?
I want to tease. You'll have to go find the event details. Okay, so I had the honor last Friday of going to Blazer High School and with Mr. Eric Lambert, civics teacher there, and speaking with his classes just about how our city government works. And you know, there's a few things that stand out in my mind as really cool experiences in this job. You know, I think about seeing firsthand how our citizens interact with our sanitation team. That was really a cool experience. Seeing, you know, when we opened the sensory playground or the inclusive playground, just seeing the children see equipment they've never seen before. Those are a couple instances that stand out in my mind, but last Friday was one as well. And just talking with the different classes about how our government works and the fact that you can have a group of different people who are focused on the overall good of the citizens, and that's the way it should be. So I'm proud to be a part of this group and you know, try to communicate that, because I think it's important for us to, because we can do work outside of the city building, right? It's the work inside the city building is right here on this agenda, but there's things we can do to inform our citizens as well, and I think that's important. There's an issue going on in Jackson, Mississippi right now that's incredibly disheartening to see with their water system. And without speaking about the reasons or any background with that, you know, it's instances like that cause a pit in my stomach when I hear, you know, citizens don't have water someplace. And it makes me so appreciate the work that this group and previous commissions and our staff has put into our water system. And I heard a couple terms in an interview, and I know what they mean because I've heard our staff talk about them. Turbidity.
Yeah.
What started the boil advisory for them was the turbidity in their water samples. And I know what that means because we've talked about that and we've looked at it. So it feels great to have the confidence when a citizen comes up to me and says, you know, anything can happen. We know that disasters happen, but we are prepared, and our citizens have clean drinking water, and we have the confidence to say that they will continue to have clean drinking water. So appreciate you all, appreciate everyone at the water plant, water distribution, and our entire staff for that. Thank you.
Mr. Clark.
Thank you. I just have a couple of things. One, last week I had the opportunity to travel with the Ashland Alliance to Vancouver for a recruitment trip. We met with 11 companies there who have active projects for expanding in the United States. That's secondary to what I'm getting ready to tell you. And sometimes when we go in, these people don't have any idea who we are, where we're from. You know, it's check the list kind of thing. But a couple of the meetings that we went to this time, they had already checked us out. They had already kind of perused our website. They had looked at the region. They had looked at the things that are going on here, and a couple made statements about it looks like a place that we could be. And that's really the first time that that's happened. You know, I've told you before when we go that we have this idea that we're overcoming some sort of stereotype of Eastern Kentucky, and they tell us, no, not really, we've just never thought of you at all. You're not even on our radar. But this time they had started looking at us, and just a reminder to this group, especially the city staff, there are people who are watching us that we don't even know. They're making decisions about their companies, they're making decisions about moving here that we're not even aware of. And I'm proud to be part of this group that recognizes that and is making every effort across the board to make this a place that people want to move to, a place that people want to put their business. And I just think that was a really cool thing to come out of that trip, and I was very encouraged by it. By the same token, I guess it's okay to talk about this. We had interviews this week for the economic development specialist, and some of the people that we interviewed were younger people who don't live here, who used to live here, who said, I want to come back and I want to be part of what's going on here. So that was awesome too. Just a couple of things as far as Ashland in Motion has begun planning for Small Business Saturday, and that'll be the Saturday after Thanksgiving. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And I think that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, appreciate that. At this point, we'll go to our city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a lot of projects, some have already been referred to, but efforts on Belmont, Ashland Oil Building, line replacement, to the point that Commissioner Blanton made. Also, Mr. Hall, I may be wrong on this, but is it 23 straight quarters with no disinfectant byproducts without violations? And a couple of years ago, 5-6 years ago, that was almost a quarterly event for us.
Every quarter.
So, a
Good
lot of
job.
hard work by Mr. Hall and the entire team. And again, it's not just utilities, it's everybody, the funding that goes to it and all the coordination that goes on. So, please keep up the focus. And, last thing, I'd like to echo what Commissioner Clark said. We had some, interviews recently, and, it was almost the exact same thing that I heard in numerous interviews. I'm from here. I wanted to move away because nothing was happening here. There's a lot of excitement going on. Again, I know it's anecdotal, but it's very encouraging to hear that they want to be part of something that something that's obvious, improvements and a focused on improvements. So I wanted to share that also. Mayor, that's all I have.
All right, we'll move on to public participation. At this point, anyone with a comment or request may come to the podium and address the commission concerning matters related to city business, services, or personnel. Comments related to election issues or concerning personal disputes will not be allowed. Personal attacks, obscene, or threatening language will not be tolerated. Presentations are limited to 5 minutes. Only one speaker is permitted per subject. No action will be taken at this meeting. Those with comments are asked to fill out an inquiry form and leave it with the city clerk for distribution to the proper city departments. Would anybody like to come forward at this time?
Hello, Commission.
Hello.
City Manager. I do have a request. So Visit Ashland and Ashland for Change partnered together to apply for a grant, the Levitt AMP Your City grant. It's a 3-year, $30,000. So it's $90,000 total, $30,000 over a 3-year period to bring a free concert series to Ashland, which is something that we already do, but we want to enhance the concert that we currently have and move it to the riverfront. We've been selected for the first round, which includes public voting, and we have to market. And so we had an idea. It's actually something that I saw in the art district in Vegas, is using street decals with QR codes for people to scan. So we'd like to place those around Central Park and at the riverfront, 29th Street, and Winchester and Broadway Square. They're removable, or just temporary sidewalk decals that people would walk by, see, and be able to scan to go and vote for the series.
All right.
I like
Yeah.
it. I like it.
That's an item that just came to me yesterday, and there wasn't time to have it on the written agenda, but under new business at the end of the written agenda,
Oh.
there's a municipal order that'll be proposed authorizing
Okay.
it.
So sorry.
Take that.
Well, it's important that we hear this from you, obviously, before we consider it, so thank you.
Okay, thank you guys.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
All right, would anybody else like to come forward?
My name's Kelsey Burge. You have heard from me directly recently regarding the demolitions that are happening in our community, and I just honestly didn't know a more appropriate way to do so, so I just wanted to thank you, Mr. Mayor, and Commissioner Blanton, and Commissioner Clark, for your diligence and responsiveness and following up to just ensure that there is really due process and that there are appropriate steps being taken, because that really just protects the most vulnerable people in our community, which should be our top priority. So I just wanted to thank you for your diligence and for your competence. I think that you have set an unprecedented standard of leadership in my lifetime. And I am one of those young people that chose to move back here and to work here and to buy our home here and raise my family here. And thank you for building a community where we wanted to be.
Well, I appreciate your comments. You know, sometimes we have tasks before us that are difficult, and we don't always have easy choices to make on behalf of our citizens. But hearing comments from you and others in the community helps reinforce that we're moving in the right direction. And I know you and I know your family, and it means a lot to have you come here today to say those things to us. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Would anybody else like to speak?
Good afternoon. My name is Dwayne Howard, and I pastor the Bible Missionary Church that's located on 1616 39th Street in Ashland, Kentucky. To give a little history as to why I'm here, my wife and I moved here in May of this past summer from Rock Island, Illinois, where I was finishing up Bible seminary. When we were planning our move, we looked up the Ashland, Kentucky city ordinances online to see if Ashland allowed backyard chickens. Multiple searches indicated that they were permitted and that micro livestock were permitted. And in late July, we received a visit from Debbie from the city of Ashland. She was very kind, but let us know that it was against the city ordinances to keep them in the city limits. We researched again and discovered that the online results that pulled up for Ashland, Kentucky codes they're actually the city ordinances of Ashland, Oregon. We made several attempts to contact the mayor's office in an effort to, but then my baby was born, and it was just we weren't able to get back to it. But last week we received a notice in the mail stating that we needed to remove the animals before Labor Day. We called the number and talked with Scott, and he told us the appropriate thing to do was to meet with the city council for consideration. We took them to a family member's property the day after receiving the notice, and we're now in fully compliance. Our 2 miniature dwarfs goats and 13 chickens were kept in a large, well-maintained enclosure next to our house and church. Because the size of the property, they have more than enough adequate space and shelter. We have not kept them for commercial reasons at all. We sold no eggs from the chickens, neither milk from the goats. They are truly our little pets. The goats are about the size of a medium dog, weighing about 40 pounds, and are very friendly and gentle. They were friends with the entire neighborhood and children as well. We have handicapped children from the church and the neighborhood that love to come over to pet and watch the animals. It gave these people a chance to love and feel loved without any threat. All the children have enjoyed feeding the animals from their hands and petting them, especially after our Wednesday evening children's church. We have a good relationship with everyone in our neighborhood, and they assured us that our animals were never a problem and were more than welcome. Our next door neighbor sent us a letter for me to read to the council. It says, I live next door to the parsonage where the goats and chickens were. I enjoyed being able to visit them. I am the guardian to a child with cerebral palsy, and she enjoyed being able to pet them. They also helped with her anxiety issues. I personally believe they were an asset to our neighborhood, and I hope they can return. Patsy Roth-Rommel. Our request is that as a ministry and therapy to young children and multiple disabled people, you would grant us a variance for our little pet goats and chickens. They have been received with love and are already missed by many children and friends. It is our desire that we should receive special permission to keep our little animals as our pets and as an avenue of ministry and let them continue their positive impact in our community. I would even be willing to set up a nonprofit organization directed at providing therapy for the disabled community and children. Respectively submitted, Dwayne Howard.
Mr. Howard, thank you for your comments. As mentioned previously, we won't take any action at this meeting regarding public comments, but I would like to sit down with you and the city manager, if you wouldn't mind, in the near future so we can further discuss the issues that you've raised today.
I would love that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Would anybody else like to speak? Not today? Okay. All right. Hearing none, we'll move on to old business.
Old business, item A, second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, An Ordinance to the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a grant assistance agreement between the City of Ashland and the Kentucky Infrastructure Authority regarding the Water Resource Information System project under the guidelines of the Cleaner Water Program, and authorizing and directing the mayor to execute on behalf of the City of Ashland any and all documents associated with the grant.
So moved.
Any discussion? I think this is one of those moments where we further thank our city staff for pushing forward with these projects. You know, when I first came on the commission, one of the pressing, if not the top issue for our city was our infrastructure. specifically our water infrastructure. And I think previous commissions, as Mr. Blanton said, and even further back than our commission just a couple years back, have dedicated themselves to making sure our water system is stable for the future, because I've said this before, the health of our infrastructure, specifically water, isn't just good for our bodies because it's clean, but the availability of water is good for the health of our economy. It keeps businesses going. So it's good to see that we're putting this money forward or trying to apply for these dollars, because these are real dollars that we don't have to grab from our local tax base. This is coming from others. And so I appreciate the efforts, and I hope we continue to see grants like this moving forward. Any other discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Item B, second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a contract between the City of Ashland and Utilis Inc., DBA Astra, for remote sensing water leak detection in the amount of $63,000 for the Department of Utility Operations, Division of Water Distribution.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item C, second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an agreement with the Boyd County Council on Aging, Inc., DBA Ashland Senior Center, the subrecipient of $25,000 from the 2022 Program Year Community Development Block Grant Action Plan and the fiscal year 2023 City of Ashland budget.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? I do want to say here, if there's ever any doubt that this commission supports our senior citizens, this is a perfect example of our commitment and dedication to them. So I'm proud to see this on the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Item D, second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky amending ordinance number 170, series of 2021, as amended by ordinance number 26, series of 2022, the comprehensive hiring ordinance for police officers for the Department of Police regarding school resource officers.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item E, second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky adopting the job description for the position of school resource officer in the Department of Police, amending the authorized positions to create 3 school resource officer positions in the Department of Police for the Ashland Independent School District, and amending the authorized positions to create an additional lieutenant in the Department of Police. All of the policies and procedures, compensation plan, and classification plan as adopted by ordinance number 51, series of 2017, as previously amended.
Moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
The consent agenda, a resolution of the City of Ashland, Kentucky adopting, authorizing, and approving the course of action presented by the city manager on the items appearing on the consent agenda for the regular meeting of the Board of City Commissioners of September 8th, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
On to new business. Item A, first reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an agreement with the Ashland Community Kitchen, Inc., the subrecipient of $40,000 from the 2022 Program Year Community Development Block Grant.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item B, first reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an agreement with the Ashland Community Kitchen, Inc., the subrecipient of $37,500 from the 2022 Program Year Community Development Block Grant for the Food Box Program.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item C, first reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an agreement with Shelter of Hope, Inc., the subrecipient of $10,000 from the 2022 Program Year Community Development Block Grant.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? I just want to say that if you look at the first 3, 4 ordinances that we have before us, all of them are related to tackling issues of poverty and homelessness. And again, if anyone questions that this commission isn't dedicated to those efforts, we are. We are putting real dollars to agencies that know how to spend it best on folks that need the most help. So I'm really proud of the fact that Mr. Pullum and his team got this before the community so that they could review it, and we're glad to be a partner in with these institutions that will help our most vulnerable citizens. All in favor?
Aye.
Item D, first reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, An ordinance to the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an agreement with Hillcrest Bruce Mission, the subrecipient of $30,000 from the 2022 Program Year Community Development Block Grant.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Before you
Item
move
E.
on- Before you move on, when is that presentation there at Hillcrest Bruce Mission that you emailed us?
I messaged you all yesterday about a proclamation for Adult Education Week, and I had your wrong email.
It happens.
But yeah, so that'd be the Tuesday, would be the 20th.
20th,
Tuesday
okay.
the 20th.
Yeah.
It was late last night.
No problem. I'm glad you clarified that
Yeah.
because I wasn't sure.
And what time does it start?
So, we were flexible, so anytime between 12:30 and 2 o'clock. So if you just give me a time, then we can work around that, and that will give you a chance to meet a lot of the previous graduates and current students and staff and folks that are working.
Wonderful.
That's amazing, yeah.
We're thankful for you,
Yeah.
Mike.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Are there refreshments?
Donuts especially.
That's all right. Okay, all right. Just want to clarify.
Bring him.
Want to clarify.
It's not bring your own donut
Sounds like
kind of
Marty's
event.
bringing a fruit tray.
Okay. All right.
All right, item E, first reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance to the City of Ashland, Kentucky amending the authorized positions by removing the position of field supervisor and adding an additional maintenance worker 1, 2, or 3 in the Department of Public Services Division of Street Maintenance of the Policies and Procedures Compensation Plan and Classification Plan as adopted by ordinance number 51, series of 2017 as previously amended.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item F, first reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance to the City of Ashland, Kentucky adopting the revised job description for the position of police lieutenant in the Department of Police, changing the exemption status from exempt to non-exempt of the Policies and Procedures Compensation Plan and Classification Plan as adopted by ordinance number 51, series of 2017 as previously amended.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item G, first reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance to the City of Ashland, Kentucky adopting the revised job description for the position Senior Financial Analyst and Accountant 1 and 2, Senior Accountant, both in the Department of Finance of the Policies and Procedures Compensation Plan and Classification Plan as adopted by ordinance number 51, series of 2017 as previously amended.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item H, first reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance to the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a contract with Bobby's Mulch for the purchase of all labor, materials, equipment, and services for the demolition and removal of all debris of 501 Broome Street in the amount of $2,995 for the Department of Community and Economic Development.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
How many houses does that, or properties does that bring us to?
62,
That'll be 61.
64.
64.
All right.
Item I, reading and adoption of a municipal order entitled Municipal Order of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, retaining the law firm of Napoli Schnicklick PLLC to prosecute any legal claim for negligence regarding the contamination of water supplies by PER and polyfluoroalkyl and related substances, PFAS and PFOA, and authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a retainer agreement for the Department of Utilities.
What was the
Jim,
name of that?
Jim, could
law
you give,
firm?
I'm not going to repeat that.
I want,
You heard it the first
How about the
time.
chemicals?
That was not the best moment.
we're gonna guess that that was the correct pronunciation.
Apologies to Mr. S.
Yeah.
If you go fast enough, it's correct.
All right. Did I hear a second?
Yes.
Okay. Any discussion? If you don't mind, I would like for the public's consumption to understand a little bit more about this.
Yes, just briefly, this came to us on a recommendation from the Kentucky Rural Water Association and the National Rural Water Association, who have retained this law firm for some multi-district litigation regarding potential contamination of water supplies by those chemicals that are indicated, which I'm not going to say again. And this would be, the Kentucky Rural Water Association anticipates that there will be some strict testing guidelines concerning this contamination, and that at the least that municipalities will incur testing costs and possibly remediation costs. And if this lawsuit would determine that there was negligence resulting in that for any municipalities, then you would recover these testing costs and remediation. So it's a contingent fee agreement. If nothing's recovered, we pay nothing. And again, it was strongly recommended, I think, to Mark Hall by the Kentucky Rural Water Association that we work in close conjunction with, that this would be appropriate for us.
Okay. Any other discussion on this matter? All in favor?
Aye.
It looks like we do have a new business request.
Oh, wait a minute, Mayor, before we move on, we did have one item that was so late we couldn't get it on the written agenda. Thank you. And that is for your consideration, a municipal order of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, authorizing the installation of sidewalk decals by the Ashland Tourist and Convention Commission in and around the Port of Ashland, Pogue Landing Park, and Central Park. Specifically, you're being asked to authorize Visit AKY and the Ashland Tourism Commission to place temporary sidewalk decals on the city sidewalks in and around the Port of Ashland, Pogue Landing Park, and Central Park, promoting bringing the Lewitt AMP Music Series to Ashland, Kentucky. Decals to be removed by December 1. This is the item that was addressed from the podium earlier.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion?
Well, so just so everybody's clear, you vote, you're gonna use these decals to vote to bring this really cool music series to our riverfront, right? And it's a popularity thing, so it's like the
more
most votes
you
win.
get.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, we've been selected, we're part of 35 communities, not only selected, and they'll choose 20. And community participation is a huge part of the 20 that's being selected, and that's public voting, so yeah, there'll be a QR code or a text option, for people to vote. So if you're out walking to see them, make sure to vote.
When will you be putting them up, down?
The voting period is the 12th through the 22nd of September.
Okay.
So
You
soon.
have them ready to go, right?
Yeah, they're ready to be printed.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Do we have a motion to go into executive session, to discuss an individual personnel matter?
So moved.
Matters.
Matters plural, yes.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We will go into executive session to discuss the individual personnel matters. Only those items will be discussed, no action will be taken. Reflect, we return from executive session. Would anybody like to entertain a motion?
Mayor, I'd like for the commission to approve an employee increase, hourly rate increase for employee numbers 090822A to an hourly rate of $23.866. And also for, do we need to vote on this separately?
Yeah, let's vote on it
Okay,
separately.
sorry.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And second, an employee increase, hourly rate increase for employee number 02298B to the hourly rate of 24.271.
So moved. Or second.
Second, all right. Any discussion?
Aye,
All in favor?
aye.
All right. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.